Blessed day, beautiful and blessed. Welcome to The Real Deal with Dr. VJ McNeal. If it ain't real, it's not a deal. Remember that. If it's not real, it's not a deal. And if you're from Mississippi, you can say, if it ain't real, it ain't no deal. That's where I'm from, so I'll keep it real. Let's get right to it once again. This is part 2 of White Privilege in Sports. We had such a wonderful time talking about the Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark hoopla. And these guests were off the chain. So we invited them again for this part 2, an unprecedented part 2. We'll try to rein them in a little bit more this time. And so I want to talk about this time Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Colts MVP quarterback. Lamar Jackson, MVP quarterback versus the NFL owners. If you are an NFL a fan, you know that Lamar Jackson has been put. He has contract issues with the Baltimore Colts. They don't want to pay the man the money that he is owed. Like all the other great quarterbacks, MVP quarterbacks, they had no problem getting paid. And so he's on this list now. The list that they put him on. I forgot the name of the list. You all can help me with that. He's on the list to pay him $32 million, but now others can vie for his services. Out of all the NFL teams, not one has called the brother, say, I want you on my team. I'm going to pay you the $200+ million guaranteed contract. There is collusion in the NFL. There's always been collusion in the NFL. There was a book written a long time ago, The $40 million Slave. Mainly that looked at the NFL and their owners and how the NFL has about 70+% African Americans on those teams. They get paid the least. The collective bargain is the worst. And any of the major sports, these NFL owners are most definitely acting like slave owners. And when they get together, a brother like Lamar Jackson, just like they outed Colin Kaepernick, can't even get a real workout for any team. And so when they get together, they treat a brother wrong. And so we're going to have our callers come on and talk about white privilege in the NFL, slavery in the NFL. So the NFL versus Lamar Jackson. Caller number 1.
Hey, Dr. McNeal, Dr. J. This is Robert Avery again from Miami.
All right. Good to have you again, Brother Rob.
About this topic.
All right. You know the deal. You know the deal. Tell me your deal.
Yes, my deal is this. And, you know, your lead-up comment is a perfect segue. There are a lot of articles out there that pretty much call the NFL a billion-dollar plantation. You look at the percentages alone, 95% of the owners are white. Male whites, and then the players, like you said, 70, or I think it's a greater percentage, almost probably a good majority are African-American males.
Hey, Brother Rob.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Hey, 100% of them are white. We may have some minor.
Exactly. Yes.
100% of the owners are white. All right, go ahead.
With that being said, you look at Lamar Jackson. It is a travesty of what they're doing to him. He's the second youngest MVP in NFL history. His stats are absolutely phenomenal. I think in the years he's been playing, he's already thrown 101 touchdowns, put up astronomical numbers. His speed alone is on par with like Mike Vick and some of the other fastest athletes out there. And yet, as an MVP, other MVPs have been paid. I think his contract is that he was roughly due $32 million this year. Other MVPs, he should have been at $45 million at a minimum. And you see the numbers that they've been throwing out to other quarterbacks. Like Daniel Jones just got $100-something million. Daniel Jones just got to the playoffs. Lamar Jackson has been MVP, and each year has had his team playoff bound or in the playoffs. And so you look at just the hypocrisy of our democracy and the hypocrisy in the NFL. They're treating him in such a horrible way. But what they're doing too is making an example out of him, if nothing else, because he's representing himself. And here you go, another young African American male deciding to represent himself and his best interests. And the system through the agents, which are normally white males again, that normally get some of the contract money. They want to make an example of him not to be successful in this, because then more African Americans will be empowered to let me get my own agent, or hey, let's start our own league, which needs to happen. And so it's a way to control the narrative of like white men are in charge. We have this $1 billion plantation. The players are black, and Lamar, you know what? We're going to not pay you right now. We're going to franchise tag, is what you were looking over. They're going to franchise tag.
There you go, franchise tag.
They wouldn't have done it Aaron Rodgers or any other Tom Brady, no one else. So I can't stand the hypocrisy. But again, I think it all points to, and they talk about the wokeness. They don't want us to wake up, because when we wake up, we will see that we are the talent. We can be the leaders. We can be our owners. And when we pull together, we can create our own league. And it'll pull the resources we can pull our resources together. We can do our own thing. And so I think that's what they're afraid of. And I think that's what needs to happen. And you brought up Colin Kaepernick, not to segue too much, but what they did, Colin Kaepernick never played another down of football for peacefully protesting. He didn't cuss. He didn't fuss. He took a knee silently. And they never let that man play another down. There were other NFL players who did all kinds of other stuff. But again, I don't want to segue. It goes back to the narrative that black men, we're not going to allow you to control your own destiny.
Absolutely.
We're going to control you. And so that's it. I don't want to go too much, but
that's all right, brother Rob. You hit that on the head. You hit it on the head. It's all about, they never want black men, black people to have self-determination. And that's, again, we're talking about white privilege or white hegemony, white superiority in sports. They never, and in society at large, because sports it's just a microcosm of our wider society. And so when you're talking about black self-determination, black control, they always want to be in control. And so you hit it on the head. Matter of fact, I'm wearing, you can't see me right now, but I'm wearing your favorite team's jersey.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm wearing your favorite team's jersey, and I guarantee Philadelphia will take care of Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
And if they don't, they're going to be in a hurt locker. Pun intended. And so thank you for those great observation. So we're going to continue to move. Caller number 2.
Jalen Hurts really quickly. He did something historic. He hired an African-American female as an agent. So again, that hopefully we break the pattern of white males have to dominate the industry. And so thank you for bringing it up. But again,
great. No. Thank you, because you are very astute in that. Lamar Jackson is taking care of his own contract. Jalen Hurts broke barriers, gender barriers, having this outstanding black woman as his agent. And so, and white men are normally, when they are racist, they are also misogynistic. They don't want women nor black men to be on top of their game. So thank you again. So we're going to keep it moving with our next caller. Caller number 2. Are you on the line? Let me hear you.
Yes. Hey, everybody. This is Rendell Hill. I'm calling from Belleville again. And,
all right,
I just
Rendell.
on the topic at hand today. We all know that Lamar Jackson is a former MVP. He's very young in his NFL career. And you spoke earlier in your opening that there's some collusion going on. And I believe that 100%, because there is no way that an MVP quarterback, as young as Lamar Jackson is, should not have had other teams come after him. No way. No way. He should have had multiple offers, multiple teams trying to sign him once they put him out there on that waiver or whatever it is, where he can go out and find another team.
Yeah, franchise tag.
No one has approached him. That's unheard of. And just to name a few quarterbacks who've been signed this year, who I don't think are on this level, Derek Carr got a contract.
Derek Carr.
Jimmy Garoppolo got a contract.
Jimmy G.
Andy Dalton. Yeah. And all these guys have contracts, and rightfully so, they're very good quarterbacks. But what about Lamar Jackson? Why has he not received one offer for his services for the upcoming season? So I think you guys are right. I do agree with the previous caller. They're trying to strap him down, trying to keep him in line. But I also think this ties back to what Cleveland did when they gave Sean Watson that big contract. They're trying to rein things back in, and they're making an unfair example out of Lamar Jackson. Because there is no way he should not be signed right now. It's ridiculous.
Well, let me say this, Brother Rendell. Yes, they don't want the contracts to get out of hand, but I think it's even more sinister than that, what Cleveland did, because I guarantee you 100% you can take it to Vegas and hit the jackpot. I guarantee you when Burrow comes up, when Josh Allen comes up, those guys will get their contract at the first hit, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Whatever they want, they're going to get it. And the only difference is, again, here it is. Jackson is black and they are white. They will always want the brother to be in the back. And when he take control of his own destiny, his own determination, here he is, and the first caller hit it on the head. He is representing himself. He is representing himself. He doesn't have a white agent speaking for him. He is representing himself. And if he wins, he opens up the floodgate of 70% of the NFL to have their own self-determination and self-destiny. And these owners fear this. And this is just a microcosm what is happening in America when black and brown people come together. White supremacy, white privilege, white hegemony fears this to no end. And this is why when you look at all the laws that are happening in our country, the gerrymandering, all these things that keep people, black and brown people, and even the poor from coming together to hold on to white supremacy. And so this is just another microcosm in the larger context of our culture. So thank you again for this. This is going to be a short segment. We've hit this thing real hard. So thank you again, Brother Rendell, for those observations. We're going to get caller number 3 on the line.
Pastor McNeal, thank you. This is Ron Martin again from Maryville, Tennessee. There is not a whole lot that I can add. All of you have spoken the core issue. You see, in sports is determined, your ability determines how good you are. Nobody can hold you back from your natural talents. So the white world who owns it controls the purse strings.
Yes, sir.
And so they will get together and determine and say, hey, we are not going to allow this to get out of hand. So this is what we're going to do. And we see that a blaring example staring us right in the face, first with Colin Kaepernick and now with Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely, unequivocally, those who hold the purse, they hold the power, and they will do anything to stay in power. Even to diminish someone who is great as Lamar Jackson, who is setting a standard. He's setting a standard for all the other NFL players, and not just quarterbacks, for all the other NFL players to be self-determined. I want to harp on that self-determination, that self-destiny. When white privilege and white supremacy, it's been the American history. They don't want to relinquish nor release that. And so that's what we're dealing with. Sports is just a microcosm of our greater society, and you see it played out. And so we thank all of our callers for your astute observations and analysis and some of the issues that are plaguing our nation. And so thank you. As we talk about it, we can bring some realness into it so that we can deal with it in a way that we treat everyone with dignity and respect that they are deserving of. Lamar Jackson, he's taken it personally, and he should take it personally because he knows what's going to happen with some of his other cohorts like Burrow and Josh Allen and those other white quarterbacks who have not come close to the talents that he has. They make excuses, say, well, he gets hurt. Well, he does get hurt because he plays 80% of the downs of your offense. He should get hurt. Therefore, you should pay him more. You should give him a guaranteed contract because he's all that you have on your team. And so, Lamar Jackson, stand your ground. Stand your ground. Don't give in to these NFL slave owners. Your contract is not the only one that is at risk. And there's over 70% more of NFL players' contracts that are at risk. So we thank you again for your call-ins. This has been The Real Deal with Dr. V.J. McNeal, Racism, White Privilege in Sports, Part 2. God bless you. Remember again, if it ain't real, it's not a deal. God bless you. Until our next podcast. Subscribe and tell your friends something real is happening. Bless you now.